Well, hey there, Leslie Sansone Williams, coming to you today from the Paralegal Inner Circle class and the Cover Letter Secrets class. Paralegal Inner Circle class launching a little over 2 weeks, and the registration will be open for 7 days and then shut down for several months. So get ready for that and let's go. Join me in that class. You can scroll down and find links in Facebook and also in the description box if you're on YouTube. Okay, so click on the description box, check out the links for both of those classes plus free resources. So check that out on YouTube. But then on Facebook, you can scroll through the feed and look for those free resources. One is called the Paralegal Resource Hub, and there's actually a free webinar on getting the attention of the hiring attorney, okay, and how to do that. So be sure you take advantage of those resources. But looking forward to you guys joining me in class starting May 15th. It's an on-demand class with 30 plus videos, workbook, much more than I can talk about here. So if you go to those areas that I've just described, you'll find more information, okay? Today, I'm going to ask you a question. What is it that you want to do in your paralegal career? How do you envision it? I'd love to hear your feedback on this. So please, on Facebook, post in the comments below, and also YouTube, just add your comment. What area of law are you looking at, or maybe several areas of law? Is something floating your boat? Is something pulling you to this career, and that you want to work in a very specific area of 2 or 3? So if you are saying, well, I haven't really thought about it, well, now's the time to do research on Google about different areas of law. In my book, Legal Break-In, I go over areas of law and take you inside some of those. And the question for you today is, what area of law or areas fit your personality? Insurance defense is not something I want to do, and I did work in workers' compensation. I don't want to do that area of law ever again. Not that it was horrible, it did not fit me. So what is it that you're looking at? And then here's the big question: why are you looking at it? Now, why didn't insurance defense fit me? Well, it's just an area, after having worked in that for a short time and then workers' compensation for a longer time, it wasn't as diverse as I need it to be personally. I love to work cases that are going to trial, perhaps. Sometimes we settle out of court and we don't go to trial. Sometimes we always prepare as if we're going to a point, and if it looks like settlement's going to happen, then we're not going to go. And sometimes settlement happens the night before the trial. Yeah. And it gets that close, so we would have prepared totally for trial then. But that's what I like to do, because I have many different facets. And there were times in my life, though, when I needed something more subdued, and I worked in estate planning and probate. And why is that more subdued? Well, I'm not preparing for trial, and I also had a tragedy occur in my life. So I needed something where it could be like more subdued and calm. But then I went back into litigation again because I love it so much. So sometimes you have to make that change. It's according to what you need, and how, I always go back to this. You want to make sure you do a knock it out of the park interview for yourself. You want to interview the people that are there to talk to you, because you have to decide whether this is a good fit for you. So don't put that aside and think, well, you know, really, I'm low man on the totem pole. I don't have a right to ask questions. Oh, yes, you do. And here's another thing that you might not have thought about. They want you to ask questions, and they want you to ask insightful questions, because they will know you will not just run ahead and do things and make mistakes. You will ask and you will learn. And when I would ask questions of someone in the law firm, I wrote everything down so that I didn't repeat it. And I learned this at the age of 19 in a corporate job, not a legal job, when my boss said, "Leslie, I think you should write these down." And she had to be blunt with me because it was driving her crazy. So don't do that to another paralegal or attorney. Write those answers down so you can refer back to them, okay? So my question for you today is, where do you see yourself going? What size law firm? Or do you want to work in a corporate legal department, nonprofit, perhaps? Where else could you work? Government agency. You know, they hire paralegals at the Department of Environmental Protection. But understand, with government agencies, they like to hire from within more often than not. And even though I worked in the capital of Florida for many, many years, I could not get my foot in the door there, but I was much better off salary-wise where I worked, okay, and not in government. But because government gives you so many holidays, and if you have children and it coincides with school holidays, that's a plus. Government used to offer nice pensions. In Florida, I don't think that they do anymore. So you could work for your city. The city directly north of me, Daytona Beach, requires people to have a paralegal degree. But in most of the jobs around here in private law firms, that's not the case. Okay, so that's how I entered in, and that's pretty much where I stayed, in private law firms. Where do you see yourself working? And by the way, I explained this in a previous video, that I just fractured a bone in my hand, and so I've got to wear this big thing to protect the hand while it heals. So it's really not that big of a deal. It looks worse than it is. Walking my dog, yeah. And I broke two bones walking my dog 4 years ago. So I'm not sure how that all occurred. I just have suspicions about somebody pulling up on a hose and I tripped over it. That's my suspicion, but I can't prove it, so that goes out the window. So tell me today in the comments, do you have an area of law that you're specifically interested in? What kind of place do you want to work in? The ones that I just mentioned. And if you feel like it, what would be the optimum thing for you to do all day long for your work as a paralegal? What would really light your fire? I'd love to hear your feedback on that. And it's going to be a relatively short video, so I just wanted to put it out there for you to answer some questions. Would love to hear back from you, and it will help other people too. You'll be surprised at how many people want to go in the same area of law you do, and it can be kind of uplifting to read other people's comments. So I'm leaving it up to you guys for feedback, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.